Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started with this session. There's a handout called hiring people, and this is for hiring people in general. So I'm going to start off by saying sometimes you have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince. Hiring and firing people can be a key part of your business growth. Having the right systems in place can help make those processes as fluid as possible. So here's the thing. This is what it all boils down to. This person is going to be helping your business. This person is going to make things run more smooth for you and your company. If you hire someone and they are not helping ease that process, they have to go. If they are not following your rules and your regulations and your procedures and they're just doing whatever they want to do, they have to go. Now, I have no patience whatsoever. They can tell you this. Some people are a little bit more lenient. The saying is hire slowly and fire quickly. I think that is 100% true. As a business owner, yes, you have to be compassionate and you have to care about your employees and want the best for them, but you can't do that to the point where you're sacrificing your business growth and your business success because you feel bad for a person or sorry for their circumstances. So if someone is driving you crazy, like they're not showing up to work, they're not respecting the office hours, they're just not communicating with you, they're messing up your account and you're getting complaints from Amazon, that is definitely when you need to reevaluate their position at your company. So I'm going to talk about several different things in this process. The first thing that you want to be aware of is, do you have the money to hire someone? That is the first thing that you need to look at. And be respectful about that. So if you're hiring in the States, if you're hiring a VA, if you're hiring if you're hiring a VA, you want to be aware of a lot of them start at $2 an hour, but they also are used to getting raises if they perform tasks appropriately. Also, if you give them a certain number of tasks to do or more responsibilities, then you need to pay them more than that $2. So you need to be aware of that. Another thing to be aware of is the 13th month. So if you're hiring a VA who works in the Philippines, they have what they call the 13th month. Joanne's looking at me like I got 8 heads. What the 13th month is their Christmas or holiday bonus. So in the month of December, they are expecting you to give them a full month's salary. So if you cannot afford your VA as well as that 13th month bonus, then do not hire a VA. If you can't afford to pay them weekly or bi-weekly, whatever your agreed upon time was, I don't care if you're on vacation, I don't care if it's like I got abducted by aliens. Like if you cannot pay them that same time every week or every 2 weeks, you do not need a VA because it's disrespectful not to pay your VAs on time. It's disrespectful not to pay your employees on time. I, as an employee, I work hard. I expect to have my pay. So if you cannot afford this, then don't have a VA. Especially in the Philippines, a lot of them are really, really counting on this money. So it's important that you're mindful of that. So that's the first thing. In the States, same thing. If you can't afford to hire an employee, then do not hire an employee. Now, if you're looking for someone, different things, we usually start off our employees with $10 an hour. So if you're hiring someone to prep, $10 an hour, $9.50. If you're hiring someone to do sourcing for you, $9.50 or $10 an hour. Now, a lot of people, they will start going into these things where they pay people by the amount of things they prep, or they pay people by the amount of things that they source. And that can be a little bit questionable and a little bit hard to maintain. So we don't necessarily recommend it. Our workers, they get paid hourly. We don't pay them by unit or anything like that. Like what you can start off paying them minimum wage if you want to, or maybe $8 or whatever the minimum wage is. The interns here are working during the summer and they get paid at the end of the summer. So they are working now and not getting paid at all. And depending on how they do, they'll get paid. Yep. So they will be paid about $1,000 at the end of the summer, depending on how well they do. We have already had to fire one of them because they did not take this seriously and thought it was a joke. So he will not be getting anywhere near as much as the ones that last the whole summer did. They started in like June-ish, towards the end of June, I think. Yeah, because they were here. It was like an army of them when I got back from my vacation. And I was like, what in the world is going on here? So they started, what was that, June 22nd, and they'll probably work to right before school starts, so the end of August. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's a way to do it. So I just wanted to get those out of the way before I hop into this. So first thing to do is to get your business in order. You don't want to have someone start working in your mess. So you want to make sure that you have systems in place before you bring someone into your business. So make sure you have systems and protocols in place before you bring on new people. And I'm not just talking about like your business systems and protocol, but also your workers' systems and protocol. So if someone calls out a certain number of times, what are you going to do? If someone needs to leave the office, how will that be handled? What time are they expected to come in? What time are they expected to leave? How long do they get for lunch? All of these things that you don't really think about, start thinking about them. The amount of sick days and all of that stuff that you want to do. When I was a teacher, you got 3 days per semester. So I was in Texas, so school started in August. From August to December, you had 3 days that you could take off. If you went over those 3 days, you were in trouble. So that's something to think about, because these situations will arise and you want to know how to handle them. And depending on how you handle them, that will determine the culture and the professionalism of your business. So if you're kind of lax about it, you don't do anything about it, then the next time it happens, they'll do the same thing because they're expecting you to be lax about it and not do anything about it. And then you get in trouble because now this person isn't showing up to work because they know that you're a pushover and you're not going to do anything about it. So you want to make sure that you're clear and concise with what the expectations are and write them down. Have them sign something to say that they received them, that they reviewed them, so that if you have to fire them, you can cover your behind at the end of the day. So on this date, we went over the rules and protocols. They knew what was expected of them. If they start doing things, make sure you document it so that if anything were to happen at the end of the day, you can say, this is what happened. This was the rules in place. This is how they violated them. This is what led to their termination. Do you have them sign that? Do you have them sign that they read the rules, but they wouldn't use documents? You can just document it personally as yourself. No. No. What kind of work can workers that they can do everything except go RA sourcing. They can do OA sourcing. They can do wholesale. They can put together your buy list onto a purchase tracking sheet. Some clients, they trust them to do their cost of goods. AppEagle is a little bit iffy. I don't know if I would trust a VA to do that. We have some clients that do have their VAs do AppEagle. They can be your personal assistant. Yep, absolutely. We train them on that. We train them on tactical. We don't train them on inventory lab, but we do train them on how to use tactical arbitrage. Yep. We have a wait list, so we're going through it and trying to figure out who goes with who. Onlinejobs.ph. Yep. Eric, you had a question?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean?
Is there a separate charge for the
No, no. So I can be on tactical arbitrage. Our VAs in the Philippines can be on tactical arbitrage. Neil can be on tactical arbitrage. Not an issue. The only thing is you can only run one scan at a time. So what you would have to do is have them run different scans. So if I wanted to run a product search and the VAs in the Philippines wanted to run a product search, they wouldn't be able to. But say I was running a product search and they were running a reverse search and Neil was running a wholesale search, that wouldn't be a problem. But we can all log in wherever we want. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like Tuesday or something like that. Yep. Yep. Excellent. Yep. Yep. Simultaneously. That's cool. Any other questions? Okay. So make sure that that's in place first. Do training videos on YouTube that can be showed to future employees as well. So that way, if you are training a person one time, make sure that you are training them and that you can do it on a recorded video so you don't have to do it over and over again. And you can easily do this on YouTube. So let me show you how to do it. So if you go to YouTube and let me sign in real quick. You can do YouTube, it's free. Yep. So you go to your little icon up here, go to Creator Studio, go to live streaming, and then go to events. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, it might ask you to approve your account first before it will let you stream, but after, like within 24 hours, it will let you do it. Then you go to new live event. Give it a title, give it a good title, because you don't want to give it a crappy title and then can't find the video later. You might even want to put like an index on the Google Drive or somewhere so you remember what you did. But if I was going to train a VA on how to answer a buyer message, I would name it VA training, how to answer a buyer message, because you want to know who you're training. Because down the road, you might have several different employees and you want to know who you trained on what. So when I showed Sasha how to do some of the jobs for the secretary and for wholesale, I did wholesale training and then I did assistant training and did the videos that way. So give it a title. You're going to do the date as today. It's going to be a drop down. You want to make it unlisted. So if someone finds your channel, you don't want them to see you training someone on how to do something. So if you make it unlisted, they have to have the YouTube link to be able to view it. So when I do screen shares with you guys, I do them through Zoom, but I upload them to YouTube and I make them unlisted. So when you go back to watch them, they're always posted on YouTube, and it's because they're unlisted, and only you can view it because you have the link. So don't worry, no one else is watching your coaching calls. So click unlisted, and then you go live now, and it will open up, and I'll give you an example. I have to have a title here. There we go. And I'll see if it'll let me do it. So it'll say ready to go, okay. And that's going to give me this crazy view of me from this camera that's right in front of me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for it to load, and it's taking like super, super long. Okay. And then I go start broadcast, and it'll say okay. And then once it turns red, I know I'm recording. Okay, so now I'm recording a live session. So I can talk to the VA, I can send her the link to this, they can do it with me from the Philippines. I can share my screen. If you have multiple screens, you just select the one you want to do, you click share, and then it will pick up your screen and record your screen during that session. So you can easily do training using YouTube, and it's free, which we all like. And then once you're done with the session, you just click stop broadcast, and then it will automatically be saved to your videos in YouTube. So you can go and view them anytime.
Is it called Google Studio?
It's just called YouTube.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep, yes, YouTube.
What was the first step before you got it?
Creator Studio.
Very first step. Before you got it, live support.
Oh, so I went to Creator Studio. Yeah. The next thing is make sure that you have a handle on your business. If you're like, your business is driving you crazy and you can't keep things under control, then get things in order first before you hire on people. Now, I understand that, yes, you want to hire people so they can help you and things might be a little mad already, but if like you're not keeping track of anything and it's a hot mess, and don't bring someone else into the mess. Fix it first and then. No, Joanne, I know, like, Joanne's like, no, I'm not referring to you, Joanne. Know what your needs and expectations are for this new position, and that's key. Know what you need them to do and what they'll be doing. Sam has a horrible thing where he hires people and then like they show up and he's like, okay, what do we need them to do? Like, do you have anything for them to do? So make sure that when you're hiring someone that you have a list of tasks that they will be doing, or you have something for them to do when they get there, because you don't want to have them like just sitting there playing solitaire all day long because they have nothing to do. And make sure that you have time to show them what you need them to do. And this is for a VA. Even if we train a VA for you, they will know how to use the software. They will not know how your business works or how your mindset works or how any of those things work. So even after we train them, you still need to pair up with them and do a little bit of training on how your systems work. And then the last thing you want to think about is, does this person have to be in-house? So can it be a VA, or does it have to be someone that works in the States? So if you're doing like, if you need someone to prep for you, obviously they're going to have to be someone in the States. So it's something to keep in mind. So how do you find people? Reach out to your community. Talk to your friends and your family and see if there's anybody that needs some work. If you go to church or you're a part of a sports league or something like that, kind of ask around and see if there is a need for someone to come and work for you. Then another option is to use Indeed.com. Irene came from Indeed. I came from Indeed. I believe Jay came from Indeed. Rachel came from Indeed. Sasha came from Indeed. So most people that worked in the office came from Indeed, except I think Ike was a part of Sam's community, so he knew him.
So how would you put on Indeed? They put it on that resume on Indeed?
So what you do is you create a job. First you have to create an account, and then you post a job, and then they'll apply to your job. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So yes, Eric.
Regarding training the VAs that you do that
Mhm. Yeah.
for your members.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Is that generally for I know taxable arbitrage in particular? And how long is that process? And we pay per hour for that?
You pay the VA for the training. You don't pay us.
Okay.
And we can train them on a number of tasks. It takes between 3 and 5 days, depending on what the actual task is. Yes. I have to see if we can give you an update. Yeah. Yeah. I was on vacation when all of this went down, so I was not privy. There we go. There you go. So, You can also post it on job boards, so like at colleges and universities and things like that. Or once again, just use the connections that you have. So the hiring process. If you're posting a job, in the job description, be as specific as possible. So if you're hiring for a tech position, let them know that they'll be using software. They have to be tech savvy. They have to know how to figure out things and work around different problems, because there are times where you will get people, and if you aren't specific as possible, things won't work out. This has happened to us on several different occasions, so you just want to make sure that you're as specific as possible. Let them know exactly what the job entails and any prerequisite skills that they will need to have for the job. So if it's going to be a job where, like if they're doing RA sourcing, can they drive? Do they have a car? You laugh at these things, but people have hired RA shoppers who don't have cars, who share a car with the spouse, and they have to alternate days because they can't drive. Or they have something physical where they can't drive. So you never, it's as silly as it sounds to ask these tiny questions. You have to ask them. We hired someone who was supposed to be doing digital design or graphic design. They were colorblind. So whenever they made something, we always would have to look at it because the colors never matched up because he couldn't see what the colors were. So as silly as it sounds, you have to ask these questions. Is there anything that will be in the way of you performing this job or this task up to the way that we need you to perform it? Ask those questions. Don't skip interviewing. This is a crucial step, and don't underestimate the questions that you are asking. There have been times where I've seen people that have had excellent resumes and they give a trash interview. There have been times where I have seen people with okay resumes and they give a wonderful interview. And then the questions are important. People love to ask, what areas do you think need improvement? Everyone has an area that they feel that needs improvement. If someone says to you, oh, nothing, I can't think of anything, that's kind of a red flag, because someone who isn't willing to work on things and fix their mistakes. Another question that I asked it to Rachel when she came in for her interview, is, and it's a silly question, but it makes sense. How many tennis balls can fit in a limousine? Now you look at me and you're like, that's a crazy question. But the reason that I asked that question is to see if someone can think critically. Are they going to just throw out some random number, or are they going to actually think about it and say, oh, is the tennis ball about the size of a fist? How big is the limousine? The limousine is about this big, and give me like a number. Or are they just going to say, well, I have no idea, like that's a weird question, or just give me some random number? That means that they can't work out problems. They can't figure things out on their own. So she did. She thought about it. Yeah. I wrote it down. I have it. Yeah, I did. I wrote it down. So if you have someone that's going to be in a position where they need to think critically, ask them that question. It's a good question to kind of see how their brain is working. John, you're a troublemaker. Another thing is, after you've explained what the job entails, ask them if they're still interested. Because they might be trapped in the interview and be like, oh God, get me out of here. Like, I don't want to work at this place, or I just need a job. So after you've explained what the job is, let's ask them if they're still interested in the job. Ask for at least 2 personal references and follow through on checking these out. Sam is the worst. Sam does not want to check anybody's references. Hire him. I am the opposite. I want to check the references, because people say things about people after their jobs. I was not here when Rachel was hired, so nobody checked her references. I personally checked Sasha's references. I talked to him. I asked him the hard questions. Would you hire her again? Are there any areas that need improvement? So ask them during the references. I had someone who gave me a reference. The person didn't even remember them. They gave me like a teacher, and the teacher's like, I haven't seen him in years. Like, so you definitely want to be mindful of these things. If someone cannot give you two references, professional references, not like a friend or someone like that. Yeah, if they can't give you two professional references, that can be an indicator of issues. Now, if they're younger, then you might have to think a little bit out of the box, ask for teachers or something like that. Or if they're a part of a sports team or if they go to church like a youth pastor or something like that, but check the references. Don't be afraid to do a follow-up interview. Once again, poor Rachel had the most experience interviewing ever. Like, I had the interview with her, and then I went and talked to Sam about it. And Sam's like, well, have her come right back for the second. I'm like, that's neither here nor there. So don't be afraid to have a second interview. Tell them up front that there will be a 90-day review period. We have a 90-day review period. And the reason that it's 90 days, that's just enough time for someone to get comfortable and start acting how they will act for the duration of the job position. We had someone that we hired, and all they did was like just goof off at work all day long. So you want to be able to see if that's going to be the case. And then think about the culture of your business. So around here in the office, we like to joke around a lot. I joke around a lot with you guys. So you have to be of that mindset. What you can do is just make sure that they're going to fit in. So if it's someone who's like kind of stuffy and uptight, that's going to cause a whole issue in your business. Don't hire that person. And then after they are hired, let them know what the expectations are for the company and as an employee. Go over the rules that you made and the protocols, make sure that they understand them. If they have any questions, you discuss those. Train them and shadow them to make sure that they understand what they are doing. Do spot check-ins, and then, of course, hire slowly, fire quickly. If you train them properly and give them all the support that they need, there's no reasons for excuses. So definitely follow all of these things. Check in on people, just like spot check in. Like I do it around the office all the time. Nobody knows I'm doing it. Like, I'm real sneaky about it, but I do it all the time. Like, Rachel knows we hired someone. They didn't last long at all. But like, I watch what people are doing and how they're going to be doing things. Check people's computer history. You'd be surprised what they do during office hours that they're not supposed to be doing. So definitely check in on people. Make sure that they understand what they're doing. Walk through things with them. Yep. So definitely be aware. Be a good boss if you're going to hire someone. Support your people. Take care of your people. If you find good people, hold on to them like I don't know, like their goals, because it's hard to find good employees nowadays. But definitely make sure that you do that. Are there any questions about hiring people or anything that goes along with